So, hey everybody, and I am super glad that you're here. I am actually pretty thrilled to see that the chat is working, although I have to adjust it. I put a little border around it. I'm going to mess with that a little bit later. I'm not going to do it now. But if you remember from the last live that we did, the chat didn't work, and I actually had something set up just in case it still didn't work, and that was I came up with this little graphic. I was going to put a little out of order over the chat thing if it didn't work, but it looks like it's working this time. I do have to undo the transparency, I guess, because it just looks a little bit weird. And move it over to the right. But I'm not going to mess with that right now. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. This is more kind of a shakeout of some new live systems I have going. Although it looks a lot the same, there's some back-end stuff I did mainly with stream elements and things like that in order to try to make everything look a little bit better, look a little bit more professional, I guess. Give myself some more options. I was actually working pretty diligently on working on some scene transitions, but I didn't get it done in time, so that'll have to be for the next live. But I'm super glad the chat's working. Anyways, so this is my first live of the year. Last week we did a kind of group thing with Team Player Gaming. We're going to be doing another one of those where he comes over to this channel and we go ahead and do a build. And we kind of just started discussing what that's going to be. That's probably going to happen next month, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I actually had a lot more fun doing that than I thought I would. I always kind of say to myself that I'm not a build guy, but that was a lot of fun. And I got to create a character kind of live and explain the decisions. And it was fun to be able to talk it through with someone who actually does builds. And I feel like I actually learned a lot. And for that, I really want to thank Drew at Team Player Gaming. And I'm really looking forward to them coming over to this channel and we can go ahead and do something there. I have something in mind for that, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. So a couple things I want to go through, and that would be, there's a couple news items. I haven't been doing a lot of news lately because if anybody, and I'm sure anybody who's actually on a live here, probably kind of keeps up with some of the other things that are happening on YouTube. A lot of people have been covering up news lately, a little bit further away from Pathfinder core stuff or builds or play, but actually going to news. So I don't want to step on a bunch of toes on doing that. But there are a couple things that I thought that were really interesting. So I'm going to switch to just two quick news items, and then we're going to talk about some of the other new stuff as well as what's coming up. So start out with, first one is we have Organized Play has just decided to put out what their schedule is for conventions in 2024. Pretty excited about these. PaizoCon online. You can go ahead and if you want to be a game master or participate, this would be the time to start thinking about what you're doing for Paizo Online 2024, and that's going to be May 24th through the 27th. It's even odd right now to even say 2024, even halfway through January. There's an application on the blog. Once again, I always say don't sleep on the blog, and I kind of have been lately, but only because it seems like it's been being covered fairly well. The other one that's coming up is Gen Con Indy 2024. Now that is going to be coming up August 1st through the 4th, 2024. And the big thing about this is, once again, you can sign up for it if you would like to GM for Organized Play here, but you can start buying the tickets on February 11th, and I'm thinking about doing it this year. I still have to work out a couple plans. Getting the tickets shouldn't be a problem. It's actually trying to find a hotel or housing for that particular weekend. I think it'd be a lot of fun to go to. And I think it'd be something maybe to bring to the channel, interviews and things like that, and maybe talk with some people or, play games. I think that might actually be kind of fun, but it all depends on how housing works out. Definitely something I'm thinking about doing. And if I do go, I'd hope to see some people there, but it'll be a blast either way. But you can go ahead and sign up for both of these. Once again, they're talking about February 11th. You can get badge registration, and then they haven't said when the housing portal is going to open. That's kind of what I don't want to say worried about, but what I'm thinking about. But I might be going to Gen Con this year. We're going to see. Yeah, and Daniel, I appreciate that. So it's kind of the same. This is one of these things where I started looking at going last year, but I didn't even start this channel till March of last year. And by that time, all the hotels seemed to be already booked up. I mean, it was probably May before I decided to start thinking about it. And I'm still super small, so don't think I'm not super small, but I was less than 100 subs probably at the time. I was thinking, well, that would be a waste, but I think it might be fun to actually go there. It's the biggest con that I'm aware of that there is for tabletop role-playing games. And so I'm really thinking about going, but if I do go, I'd love to see you there. Hey, Kojo, how's it going? What are we talking about? We're talking about, at the moment, we're talking about PaizoCon, registration for organized play. I thought the word for a second. Well, there is no, PaizoCon's only online. I'm thinking about going to Gen Con. See, I've been to a con down here in Houston, but that was a Comic-Con with some games attached, but I've never been to an actual TTRPG con, so I'm kind of interested on going. I am thinking about going to Gen Con this year. Gen Con, February 11th is when you can start buying tickets. But yeah, as far as I know, PaizoCon is pretty much... So actually, there's another blog post, and actually I could go... Well, I won't go back and start showing that, but there actually is a blog post, and it is in the RSS, but it talks about how, as far as an in-person PaizoCon, they're talking about doing in-person PaizoCons at local game stores, meaning the local game stores will be doing stuff, and they have a list of the local game stores that'll be hosting. I didn't see one for Houston, which was unfortunate, but Gen Con is where I'm thinking about going. I've like I said, never been to a big con. It seems like it would be a blast. I've always heard about, the con crud and all other kind of stuff. Yeah, if I can find one that's close, even, I said Houston, but I'm in Texas. So even if it's in Dallas or San Antonio or Austin, if I could find one, I might actually wind up going. Is it? Thanks for letting me know, Kojo. I'm going to have to look that up. Because Austin is just a few hours from here. In Texas, everything's a few hours. Doesn't even getting across the city's a few hours. It can be. So that's the con schedule they have for organized play. Now, the other thing that I wanted to bring up that I thought was interesting, I haven't seen anybody cover, but for anybody who reads the comments, and I do try to go through all the comments I get, and I do try to answer all of them, but I have a few people, and the big one I could probably do a call out here, but like Captain Pigraven, he's a big commenter on the videos themselves. He does a lot of gaming for kids, trying to introduce them into tabletop role-playing games. And there are a bunch of other people that do this at libraries and do this for schools and do this with their kids and their friends and their families. And one of the things I thought was really, really cool that Paizo is going to start doing, once again, this was just announced last Thursday, is that they're going to start denoting on their modules which ones are all ages appropriate. Dragon's Lair, Austin. I haven't been to Dragon's Lair, but I think I know where it is. I'm going to have to keep... I'm definitely going to keep that in mind, Kojo. Anyways, the modules are going to start being labeled, they're saying here, a PG-13 level of maturity for our standard adventures, but they're going to start labeling some for all ages, as well as potentially having different covers, different art. I think it's a good idea, especially using this as a way to bring people into the hobby. I kind of said it on Team Player Gaming's Live, and I say it fairly often, I think, is I want more people to play so that I have more people to play with. And I think those are both good things. By that, I mean having more people play. And I think it's a good thing that I have more people to play with as well. But I do think that this is a nice step for the people who do take this to libraries and schools and after school activities and with their kids and with their kids' friends. I think it's a great idea. And I hadn't seen anybody really mention it. I haven't been doing a lot on the blog because on the Discord, it kind of comes up automatically. So I don't feel quite the need, but I do kind of want to do a little bit more of that. Anyways, I have to use that new thumbnail template that I created for news that I haven't done anything with yet, which kind of is a segue into maybe our next section. So let me switch back. Next section is to just kind of talk a little bit about what's been going on since the beginning of the new year. And the last year, I kind of mentioned the last live of last year, which was the 28th, I think, or something like that. Talked about some of the changes that were being made, but some things hadn't come in. That hadn't come in yet. And I'm thrilled to death with that thing back there with my little wall logo. I have my little artwork for our little party, and you can see it down here in the lower right-hand corner. And got a little lights up here, redid everything back here, but that's not a lot of it. So we do have the new character designs. We do have the new intro and outro, which I like a lot and seems to be getting a pretty good reception. I was worried it would be too much of a spacer and people wouldn't like it, but I think it's working out pretty good. The other thing, I can actually bring that up real quick. So this is what I've been working on mainly for this year is I have been trying to work on quality for the channel. I think that there are tons of people who give out great information and stuff like that. And I try my best at it. There are definitely people that are better than I am. Definitely not saying I'm bad either, but there are definitely people that I think are really good at it. However, I'm trying to work on the quality of it. So one of the first things I did is, if anybody is looking to get into it, I noticed we had on the Discord, we had a little conversation about this, about some of the stuff, people who wanted to start channels and wanted to talk about stuff, so I use DaVinci Resolve Studio, and you can download that for free. A license is like $2.95, but unless you're going to be getting into some 4K stuff, which I've been doing for archiving, but unless you're going to start getting into some really high-end stuff, you can do everything. Everything that I do, you can do with a free version of DaVinci Resolve to deliver without having to pay a subscription to Adobe or use something else for editing videos. But one of the great things about DaVinci is you can do like real honest to goodness color correction. So how this works is you have this little sheet, and it is actually created. I don't want to say created, that's the wrong word. Standard colors. It's a grid. That, and you have a grayscale on the back. And you can set it up when you do a video. You record your video. When you hit record on your OBS or whatever you're using, and then you can sit there and you put this up and you put it down. And then you can match a grid in DaVinci Resolve, and it'll color correct everything for you so everything has the right white balance, the right colors, the actual colors that you actually see. So I've been working on trying to get the video a lot better. I have been working really hard to try to get the audio better. I think I'm doing okay on that, but I've been really working on the quality of it. With that, I have in my notes here, I have notes sitting over here on this side, so if you wonder where I'm looking, it's I say a new audio process. It's not a new audio process, it's a process I go through where I'm taking every single video and I'm trying to match the frames, because it had come up, actually it just came up recently, where there was one where I didn't do a good enough job. And I had a comment where someone said that they were watching the plosives, which is the P's and the B's, and they were a few frames off. So my video seemed like it was lagging. And every once in a while I'll get a comment that it seems like it's like a dub almost or something, where the sound comes a little bit before the mouth movements or after. So I've been working on doing frame matching for the audio to the video. Now, not on lives. Lives are just going to come as you get them. You can't really edit these until afterwards. But so doing a lot on that. And then this whole new live stream, like I said, there's a lot of, even though the live stream looks generally the same, and once again, I know I have to fix the chat. It's a little bit, I tried to do it slightly transparent, but it just makes it harder to read. So I'm reading the comments that came through. Sue's son was getting into D&D and she was struggling to figure it all out. It is very, I'm AI generated. No, what do I have? What could I say that's AI generated? Well, I have like, ask me for a random thing and a newspaper with today's date on it. I don't know. I'm not AI generated. I'm an actual person. I do think, oh, I see where you're going with that comment. Exactly. Yeah, the new age labels for the Paizo adventures are going to be super helpful for people who are trying to even get gifts. I think that's actually a good idea. I didn't think about that. Think of like a grandparent who's trying to get something in. The kid said they want something and tell them to go to a store. It helps. I don't know. I will say this because there are some people, if there are warnings or those kind of things, and I get it. So I'm trying to figure out how to put it without being awkward. So there are some people, like I was alive in the 80s, back when we had the whole album labeling and they were trying to play records backwards, and records are actual things. They try to play them backwards with satanic panic and messages and that kind of thing. I'm not trying to get into any of that kind of stuff. However, this doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't prevent anyone from buying anything. It just tells them that it's appropriate, that a module is appropriate for all ages. I think that's a fantastic thing to make it easier all around. And I hope that stumbling convinced you, Raven's Path, that I'm not AI generated. My little stumbling there. Let's see what else. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say is, you had to explain why you wanted. Oh, an 18 plus game. Yeah, kind of the same. When I first started playing, now it wasn't when it first came out. I'm not that old, but original D&D. We're talking the original bare bones, not AD&D, not nothing, just the original D&D. I remember my friend, I'm not going to do names because I don't have their permission to give out their names, last names at least, but Matt, we called him Matty. I was like 9 or so, and we got a sleepover at his house, a bunch of kids, a bunch of our little friend group, and we were playing. And my parents are very religious, and this was satanic panic time frame. So I remember and his parents were as well. Matter of fact, church, and we all went to a Catholic school and all this other kind of stuff. But we had to hide in Maddie's bedroom, and he was DMing, and we were playing. And like, if we heard his parents coming up the stairs, we'd like hide everything, because playing Dungeons and Dragons was witchcraft. So weird. Basic red and expert blue. We were red. It wasn't blue box. It was not blue box. It was red box. Thank you for saying that, because I couldn't think about it, what it was. I kept trying to think of, it wasn't just basic, but yeah, because there were those two, but it was red box. Just basic D&D. But that was like 8 or 9. And then I got into AD&D, first edition, second edition. We started looking at 3. And then I think I've given this story a gazillion times. And Stoop's probably boring, but started getting to 3. This was when I was in the military for a while. Everybody in the military plays Dungeons and Dragons, believe it or not. We all did. And then I moved stations, and I didn't pick it up again until, well, just recently. I was deciding between 5e, which I have the book sitting back there, and Pathfinder, and Pathfinder is where I am. And that's why I have this whole channel. But that is another time that I say what my history is in tabletop role-playing games. But back to the last thing I want to do about the new stuff, and then we could talk about upcoming stuff. And there's some things I'm really excited about that's coming up, is on the Discord, not trying to sell anything. There's no promotion or anything like that. I don't get anything from it. But on the Discord, I put a new channel up in a new category, and I'm kind of looking at it now. That's why I'm looking over to my left here, is questions. And then I have live stream Q&A. I kind of put that there as a way, if people want to ask questions they would like answered on the live stream, it's a way for people to put questions in there so I can go ahead and do it. If you want to see me build a rogue swashbuckler free archetype character, okay, then maybe we can try that. But that would be where we can kind of get stuff actually kind of going on the see what you guys want. Because right now what happens is is usually starting about Monday, and I'm going to start doing these every Thursday again. So this is going to be, I think I'm kind of done with the back end stuff, but Thursdays, this is when I do the lives. Mondays, I start thinking of topics and what I'm going to talk about and putting stuff together. And we're going to have the campaign is going to be restarting up again. So I'll be working on that kind of stuff and then kind of putting together notes. Like I said, I have my notes sitting over here on the right. But this is just stuff that I come up with when if you guys have something. There was a new video on the old Satanic Panic. It was so ridiculous. It was just, in hindsight, it was ridiculous. Especially the playing the records backwards. It was just, the people, it was the Def Leppard or the Led Zeppelin. There was one album that they were just keying on, and they would play it backwards, and they said it was Satanic Verses or something. But what actually wound up saying it, I think it was Def Leppard. I could be wrong. It could be Led Zeppelin. But anyways, the band came back like 10 years later, and it might be in that YouTube video. Their sales, record sales, just blew up because of a total farce. And so they fed into it. They were like, yeah, sure, we have satanic messages in there, and people just bought it more and more. So stupid. But on the live stream Q&A thing on the Discord, I just have that there so that it's not just me deciding what goes in the lives. I'll be more than happy to do what you guys would like to do. Yes, it did. Different medias, different titles. It is back in its own way. And I don't think it ever really goes away. But yeah, we're in an upswing at the moment. And it is what it is. So now I have 3 main topics. We've already been through 2. This last one's a little bit bigger, but it's all upcoming videos and projects. So these are some of the things that I'm pretty excited about. Last week, we had a collaboration with Team Player Gaming, and I created a build up to level 20, and you can go to his channel and in the Discord. I do have the Path Builder link to the one I built, but he built one and I built one. And then we kind of did a comparison on what we did and came up with why we picked choices, why we picked a certain thing, why we picked a certain feat, why we did a bunch of different things. And I went down to the skill feat onto how I decided that was going to fit in the character. And next month, we are going to have a video on GM burnout. I just got a question in the Q&A thing. That is actually a good video on GM burnout. That would be a great idea, because that does happen a lot, especially for the all-time GMs. But that would be for another live too. So we had that collaboration with Team Player Gaming. It was great. It was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. I know the audio probably wasn't the best, but I had a great time, and we're going to be doing the same thing, except he's going to be coming over to one of these lives, and we're going to build. And I have figured out the main theme that we're going to build, and we're going to do it the exact same way. So I need to come up with the details. But I had a comment in one of the videos, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it even might have been one of the Foundry modules ones. But anyways, I had one commenter come up, and they were talking about a Bard swashbuckler character. So Bard with a free archetype of swashbuckler. That sounds like a fantastic character. It immediately made me think of like Chris Pine's role in the D&D movie or something along those lines. Just like a rake, just I could imagine the big brimmed hat with a big feather in it, and that might be a fun. So I think that might be the character that we're going to build, and need to come up with some bounds for it. In other words, something that's in common, be it the background or be it the ancestry, heritage, whatever, but come up with something that so it starts out consistent, and then build the 2 characters totally separately based on a 2 or 3 word theme, and then see what each one of us comes up with and do a comparison. It was a lot of fun to do on his channel, and it's going to be a lot of fun to have him do it on this channel here. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So that collaboration is coming up. The other one, and I'm not ready to announce, only because I don't have their permission. I was going to say ready to announce, but it's not, because it's a big thing. Well, to me, it's a big thing, but there's another collaboration coming with another Pathfinder YouTuber. And I'm not going to say who it is. It's not the biggest, not the smallest. I'm probably the smallest, but with another YouTuber, and we're going to be doing a collaboration around when Monster Core drops, which is end of March. So that's another collaboration. I am kind of at first, especially even just the team player gaming one we did, which was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Even the lead up to it, just, conversing over Discord and DMs and that kind of stuff. That was a lot of fun, and phone calls and this kind of thing. But I was a little intimidated by the whole collaboration thing. Out here making new Pathfinder friends. Yes, I am. But it's just so interesting to put these ideas out there and talk about it. And then even when you're doing it, this isn't hard. So if anybody wants to start a YouTube channel or Pathfinder YouTube channel, really go for it. Or any type of YouTube channel. It's not as hard as it could be, but then you're going to get to a point, and then you make incremental improvements, and that's when it starts getting hard. Is these teeny tiny little improvements take a lot. But so we're sitting there and we're talking about creating these builds, and then we're like, well, how are we going to do it? And then so we started discussing, well, how do we pipe the Discord audio through OBS, through the channel, and so on and so, and how you. But then you start getting the technical part of it with other people who do the same stuff you do. That was super interesting. That was a lot of fun. So I'm not hesitant on collaborations at all anymore. That was a lot of fun. So collaboration with Team Player Gaming, a collaboration with another YouTuber. Once again, it's not, and I'm not holding back the name because trying to build anticipation. It's just simply because I didn't discuss it with them first. But it's around the time Monster Core comes out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of the videos I've done lately, I had some that I had planned, and then like the last 4, including these last 2, which were medicine skill ones, those were very specific requests that people put out, and people put out in my comments all the time. If I'll do something and they'll go off on a slight tangent, be like, hey, this is great that I learned how to do this. Could you think you could do one on such and such? So I've been doing a few requests lately, but at the moment I don't have any requests aside from ones that I had already planned on doing that are bigger ones. So these, aside from those 2 collaborations I have coming up, I still have the creating creatures NPCs. We had talked about that a little bit. I don't know. It was maybe even end of last year. Talked about doing that one. I basically had that thing all written out in the note style that I have notes. Matter of fact, I can kind of show you. So if you ever see me doing late March for Monster, I know it does. It's like right around the corner. And I'm thrilled for it because right now all the monsters have the wrong tags. Especially, I play a cleric. I make no bones about that. I play a cleric in one of my games that I actually play. But the monsters don't have the right tags yet, the right traits listed, because it's not Monster Core isn't out. I'm thrilled for Monster Core to come out. But I'm going to bring this up here. So, because this is how I do everything. What I'm showing you right now, these are my notes for this live. Oh, I'm showing you stuff that's coming up. Anyways, well, it doesn't matter. I already gave away the big things. I already have my notes written out for this creating characters NPCs. And I kind of started working on the some of the other things for it, including the thumbnail and any type of other art that I want to do for it, and things that have to get put in as overlays. But right when I was getting ready to start recording that, actually not right, he actually did a little bit beforehand. Swing Ripper just came out with a video on that. And I don't want to, if I have other videos ideas, it isn't worth it to either step on someone's video or to have your video lost in the ether because a more popular video comes out on the same exact topic. So that one's ready to go. I'm just kind of waiting probably another week or so, and then I'll be recording that and getting that one out. It's a great video, by the way. The creating creatures NPCs from Swing Ripper. It's a great video. Other one, I got a request for, because I did character creation in Pathfinder or Path Builder. I did potion creation crafting rules. I shouldn't be reading this. So in the Discord, actually, questions are coming up right now for the next live. I am loving it. Thank you very much. But I did the character creation in Path Builder, and then I got literally in the comments and some DMs on from a dev, from a Pathfinder 2e Foundry module dev, and two more people who also worked on that same project, talking about how they sometimes break the character generators. Now, I still like the character generators. I haven't run into a specific problem myself. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. People could have more complicated characters, or it could just be certain feats or certain classes that are doing it, or I could have just been lucky. But because of that, I still am a path builder path builder person who, I can't think of the word. You guys can quote me on this one. Path builder video. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But Path Muncher is one of the ones that is a thing that I kind of took out. I still think that those things are useful. But anyways, I did Path Builder and I did how to build a character directly in Foundry. But I got a request to do Wanderer's Guide. Now, I've used Wanderer's Guide in the past. Promoter, proponent, proselytizer. I like that, proselytizer. We're going to use proselytizer. I'm a Path Builder proselytizer. I love Path Builder. Path Builder encounters, Path Builder, all of it. I am a subscriber. Here's the bad thing about Path Builder. So YouTube, you have to have a Android account, or you have to have a Google account for YouTube, and then I have my personal one, the one that I've been using my whole entire life. It seems like not that long, but quite a long time, well over a decade. So I actually have, for the characters I built for the channel, I actually am on the Patreon. I have the app paid for both times, and I have the web-based version or the browser-based version paid for both times. It's ridiculous. Have to spend some time with Path Builder this evening. Yeah, I need to work on Path Builder too, especially for this bard swashbuckler character. But yeah, I pay for it multiple times. And on the Patreon, I can't think of anything bad to say about it at all. But this specifically was about Path Muncher, not specifically Path Muncher, actually, any of the importers can break. So I wanted to create a video on how to build a character directly in Foundry using Path Builder, even a base of Path Builder. However, Wanderer's Guide came out, or Wanderer's Guide request came out. I have used Wanderer's Guide before. I am working on getting more familiar with it. And the reason why I'm not just throwing a video out there, because I could step my way through it and edit the video to make it look like I'm an expert, but I'm not on Wanderer's Guide. So I want to make sure that I've built a good 10 characters or so. I'm basically taking characters that I've built in Path Builder, and I'm trying to recreate them in Wanderer's Guide until I feel comfortable putting out a video on how to do Wanderer's Guide. And if it takes more than 10, it takes more than 10. I like building characters anyway, so it's not going to hurt me at all. Then let's see, what else do we got? Hero points. I got a request for a hero points video. I do have a hero points video already there, but they wanted something a little bit bigger because you can actually do a lot with hero points. Heck, it's not that you can do more than I said. It's fortune, misfortune, keeping yourself from dying. That's pretty much what you can do with hero points. It's the fortune, misfortune thing and how it interacts with things like halfling luck and other fortune, misfortune things. Anything that allows you to roll 2 dice. Anything that allows you to roll 2 dice, if it has a fortune or misfortune tag, can negate being able to use hero points because you can only use one fortune, misfortune thing per roll. So you can't use a hero point, and then if you don't like the hero point, all of a sudden, well, I'm going to use my halfling luck. You actually can't do that. You can only do one fortune, misfortune per roll. I'm kind of thinking, if I am wrong, someone please feel free to come in and tell me that I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. Then the other super big thing I'm super excited about is, and I also say this all the time, is I have finally two more independent projects to review. Why is that doing that? I hope it's okay. I've spent some time with Beth. Okay. So what I'm saying, why is it doing that? I apologize. Once again, this is a bit of a shakedown for the new system. Is a lot of times in the chat messages, I'll see them and then it'll immediately be deleted, and I don't know why. But it's showing up in the chat online. It's just not showing up correctly in YouTube Studio, which is weird. So I'm sorry if I was doing that. Like I said, this is a bit of a shakedown on some new systems I have kind of going. Anyways, 2 new independent projects. I love third-party publishers. I love third-party independent creators simply because they take Abomination Vaults and make it unique. They make it so that you can run anything, Fist of the Ruby Phoenix, multiple times because you add something new in. And these are independent projects from people that I've already done reviews on. So I'm doing Vote Finder from eBrian Lane, and I'm doing, let's see, this is a family-friendly live, or at least I try to be, but it's bad $$ bombs, and that's from RPG Elise, and I've already reviewed some of their things before, but I'm going to be doing those 2 independent reviews coming up. Those take a little bit longer to do. Those wouldn't be something that I could come up with my notes and record a video in, a day or 2. I actually need to play it. So the first 1 or 2 I did, I read through it, and actually I think it was only the first one, which was still a great one, and I have played it since, and it's a great one. But I don't think I gave that one enough of a shakedown, but I've been trying to really, especially if it's a preview, you can only go with what's the preview. If it has a play test, it's fine, like the Eye of Everywhere. But that one, actually, I did play test that one. The additional information I got for that preview, that's actually a great system, and I can't wait for it to physically get in my hand because I'm a backer of Eye of Everywhere. But I need to play these, and then I need to record them, and then after I record them, I have to. It's doing the same thing for me, and I don't know why. I got timed out for a bit by YouTube Automod. If Kojo, if you are getting deleted by Automod, I'll need to turn that down. I don't think I can do it live. That'll change, and I apologize. Kojo, you shouldn't get deleted. So I apologize if that's happening. I'll fix it, I promise, for the next live. Because, yeah, I don't like that at all. Independent projects. I'm going to play them. And even if I don't play them, it still takes a few weeks because of what I do is I write the review. Yeah, the problem is I did make some changes to the live stream on the back end. So it could be a setting that I put in that is making it delete. And I don't know. And I need to go back through the settings. On the independent projects, I get them, I read them, I start taking notes there. I need to play them. Then I record a first draft of the video. And then what I do is I try to send that video to the independent creator. There's a reason why I send the video to the independent creator. So if you see me do a review of any independent creators, it's because I liked it. If I get a project I don't like, what I will do is I will do the exact same thing. I'll take notes, I'll make a video, I'll send it off, but I'll tell them why I'm not going to publish it. Simply because, not that I'm an expert, I'm definitely not the expert on Pathfinder or what it is, but I'm going to give my feedback. I'm also not going to tank someone. So if I release a review, it's because I liked it. The reason why I give people the videos before I publish them is, and this has happened, where I took a rule that I read and I interpreted it incorrectly. In some cases, they changed the wording before publication because it was a preview. I'm not going to say which one, but because it was a preview, but they changed the wording before they published it so it was clearer. And I think that's the way it should go, is I'm giving them feedback, especially if it's a preview. I'm giving them feedback and they can choose to make the changes or not. Not that I'm requiring anybody to make changes, but I'm also not going to tank someone. However, it is very possible that I got something wrong. There are, in the old version, the new versions are actually better. Player core and GM core. By that I mean more compact. But in the old player's handbook, with the 600 something pages, we all have a lot of rules and it's very easy to get confused. So I like to send it beforehand so they can, if I have a critique, they can tell me, oh, well, it's not supposed to do that. But like, oh, well, and then we can discuss from there. So those take a good 3 to 4 weeks to come out. But I do have 2 independent projects. Super thrilled to do those. And I'm really looking forward to both of them. If you have played Orc Strongs Together, or if you've watched my Orc Strong Together, the Vote Finder is that politics system expanded to a very large degree. And I loved that subsystem. I'm a sucker for a good subsystem. And Vote Finder is just so much bigger, so you can actually do elections. Imagine being in, because it's a spoiler. It would be a spoiler. But I'm going to try to unspoiler it. So imagine you're in Otari. Abomination Vaults takes place in Otari. It just does. That's why it's a good branch off from the beginner's box. But imagine if you wanted to run against the mayor. You could run against the mayor with Vote Finder. It just could make it very interesting. One of those things that could take, once again, it could take Abomination Vaults and make it not just an AP, but make it your own Abomination Vaults. That's what I'm looking forward to. The other one, the bomb one, you can imagine what that's going to be about. And both of them are available right now, but I'm just glad I get a good chance to review those. Then the other big thing I want to talk about is, and I mentioned this in the last live too at the end of last year, but I was closing out that year and trying to work on some things to get ready for the channel for this year. And I hadn't started it yet. I started gathering notes and getting the maps together and getting GitHub back together and getting Wilder Info, not back together, but getting myself refamiliar with everything. But we need to restart the campaign. That is probably not going to take place the live like it did when we did it. Those will move on to going through their own lives, probably on a Saturday or a Sunday. We'll see once again who wants to get back into that and recontribute, as well as what we used to do, which was, hey, Prometheus, how's it going? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But with the campaigns, what we had been doing with that is we've been basically holding the lives. We did do them on Thursday, but we had done 1 or 2 on Saturday. And then after those particular lives, we get on Discord and one of the voice channels and start talking about stuff and ideas. And I have a whole bunch of notes and a whole bunch of things on that from what we did in the past. But we're going to restart doing that. But it's not going to take the place of this particular live. So the campaign is restarting. I'll get you an exact date. I want to get it restarted before the end of this month. It just kind of has to. The longer it goes, the less momentum, or the more momentum we actually lose for doing it. And it was such a good campaign idea that I don't want to go away. And we were 15, 20% in with a good solid idea for the story. So I don't want to throw that away. And I want to learn how to make a full-on adventure just like everybody else does, and how to bring in a Foundry. That was the whole point of it, was to teach as we go. Or not teach, but learn as we go, because I'm going to be learning at the same time. Then those are the Pathfindery things. Now there's 2 things that I kind of had a request for. And that was a studio. I'm using air quotes because it's ridiculous to call this a studio. This is a room in my house. But basically, camera I use, teleprompter that I actually have a teleprompter sitting right here, which is where I put the notes when I'm doing a video. And so if you see my eyes moving when I'm actually doing a video, it's because I'm looking at my notes that are on the screen and talking to them. And then I have like 3 monitors and 2 lights here and a light there and a light there. And then how these are actually lit up back here and how everything's set up. And this little, I don't want to grab the microphone, but the microphone's right here. And I have a mixing panel right here, and kind of do a studio tour and show you, especially if you're interested in doing YouTube, or if you're just interested in this kind of stuff in general, what I use in order to make videos. I'm not saying I make the best videos in the world. I think I make decent ones. But it's what I use in order to make the videos that I make. And as fun as the Pathfinder content itself for me, is I love the whole tech angle of it. And I like buying stuff and learning new things, especially technology wise. And I feel like I have a little mini production studio here because I'm actually thinking about going multicam, getting a second camera for different type of shots, especially, we've been doing the playthroughs for Foundry and things like that. But when I did the cards are back there, like even when I did the Harrow deck or when I did the deck of endless NPCs, that's just using my camera, my phone on my camera, my camera on my phone on a tripod over my desk and just playing here. But it'd be interesting to actually have a full multicam setup. Dice cam. That's a darn good idea. Ooh, I like that, Raven's Path. A dice cam. Because I have a little dice tray sitting back there with actual real dice there. that would be a lot of fun, especially for some of these ideas I have. Need a drone. Have it fly around the room. I have a dog sleeping right there, and I have a dog sleeping right over there. I could have dog cams too. I know DM's Lair does the dog cam. But she's actually snoring back here. So I could do dog cams. We could do multicam, full multicam. So studio tour. And then the last thing I'm thinking about doing, and this would be for March 5th, is I'm thinking about, because all of how this works is I record everything in OBS and I take it into DaVinci Resolve Studio and I do all my editing in DaVinci Resolve Studio, and the whatever level of professional video that I do is put on YouTube. But for each, and you've heard this, if you've ever heard anything from anybody who makes any of these YouTube videos, for a 10-minute video, I have 30 minutes of film. Because there are so many times when I'll be taught, once again, because I don't have a script, I read from notes, I read from bullet points, and I expand the bullet points into sentences. So a lot of times what I say don't make sense because I'm thinking of the sentence that I'm talking as I'm reading a bullet point. And so I have so many bloopers, and there are times when I'll start a sentence and I know what I want to say, but I can't think of the word. I would say I would say 10% of every video I do is me sitting like this for 15, 20 seconds at a time, because it's easier to cut the frames back together if you freeze. So when I lose my thought or lose my place in a sentence, I'll just freeze and think it through and then try to continue and then try to edit it together. But for March 5th, I'm thinking about doing a 1-year blooper reel, and I have some awful bloopers, and like even the original, some of the, if you go back to the channel, look at some of the first videos, that was done on a Razer Kaio webcam with no lights, just the sunlight through windows. And I think my desk was oriented different, so the light was even coming from somewhere different. But yeah, everything, there's nothing that I'm using now that is the same that I was using when I first started. But it isn't even about the difference in the how everything looks. It's more in, you guys would be, I don't know, I think everybody would think it would be funny. The grammar I use that I cut out, the stupid sentences I say, the amount of times that I'll be talking and I'm animated with my hands. And I'm going to do it so everybody cover if you're listening to headphones, I'm about to make a noise, I guess. But like I'm going to bump the bottom of my table. Like you bump the bottom of your all this noise comes through your audio. And so you have to re-say the whole sentence, or in some cases, the whole segment, if it was a particularly animated section. It's just, I'm getting okay, I got a no data, the stream, excellent condition. Okay. My little YouTube anger bar came up and said that I had stopped streaming for a second. So I'm glad it caught back up. But anyways, March 5th, I'm thinking about doing a blooper reel of some sort to kind of put out and commemorate 1 year on YouTube. And that's not too far off anymore, now that I think about it. So there were some other things that I wanted to talk about that are... Is it back up now? Okay, I'm sitting here looking at the thing. I have a. How can I show that? Okay, I guess I'm better. See, right now. Okay, good. Here's why. I'll actually show you what it looks like when I'm recording. So for anybody else who wants to see what you see in the background, is there anything personal on here that I can show that is going to get me in trouble? Stream status poor. This is what I see when I do a stream. I'm watching myself. So awful. Okay. But yeah, it's still saying error, stream status poor. So maybe I should start thinking about closing it up. Where was I going? There are two other things I wanted to talk about. Don't dox yourself. I really try super hard not to dox myself. There is no personal information on there. And I'm super bad for doxing myself. I think, Gojo, I say this, not necessarily truly doxing myself. And if I'm not trying to super hide my identity either, in truth. But I don't know. See, I lost my train of thought totally. I'm totally off track now. I'm way off in the weeds. There's something else I want to... Oh, one thing I will say. So it is... I need to pull up a calendar here real quick so I can have the actual date. So February 8th. I'm not going to be doing a live stream soon because I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be visiting my mom. And she does not live anywhere near Texas, so I have to take a flight. So I will basically, and I'm already started doing it, I'll be recording some videos to put out the time that I'm gone, because I'll be gone for that week, basically. But I won't be doing a live stream on the 10th or the 18th. I need to get my head straight. The whole YouTube thing has got me flustered. Anyways, it would be the 11th. No, the 8th of February is when I'm not going to be doing a live stream because I'm just not going to be here. So that is going to be 1 week. However, the live streams are going to start occurring, aside from that, every Thursday. So the one that I'm going to be doing with Team Player Gaming, that one might be a little bit different too, because he has a slightly different schedule than I do. So it might be at a different time of day, but we'll work that together with him, with Drew, and then I'll go ahead and make sure I schedule it correctly and everything like that. Is there anything else I want to go over? I can't think of anything. Trying to think if there's anything that I'm just looking at the chat. Don't tell me not dox myself. I'm so bad for doxing myself. I can't think of anything else to really go over right now. I'm going to kind of vamp here for about a minute or so, just to kind of, if anybody has any questions they can put in there. I did get the two things that I see in the live stream Q&A, which would be a live stream on GM Burnout, which is a thing. And I'll be honest with you, that is something Raven's Path. Thank you for putting that in the Discord. And I'm going to bring it up here. And then there's something else about potion creation and crafting rules, because crafting changed in the remaster and made it so much better and so much easier, and I love that. But the whole GM Burnout thing. So I actually, and it's a little bit of an honor if you really want to know, I got an award from, see, now I can't think of it. There was a little Pathfinder YouTuber award ceremony type thing, which was, Rules Lawyer presented in it. Crunch McDabbles were presented in it. It was actually a great little award thing. I actually won one, but I won an award it was a tip of your hat award, and it was because in 10 months I'd put out 230 something videos. So that is one other thing that has changed for this year is I am trying to Local Disaster. Yes. Local disaster. Yes, it was. I'm trying to work on quality this year. Not even just quality of so far I talked about, the audio and video and what I've changed there, that kind of stuff. That's good. If the information's bad, the information's bad. So what I have done in the past, and I will continue to do, is if I say something in error, if I say something wrong, or I say something misleading, yes, it was. It was on YouTube. It was a local disaster. See, once again, it's because I'm recording, so I don't remember everybody's name. Local disaster tour guide. I didn't even have to go to YouTube. It just took me a second. Local disaster tour guide hosted a Pathfinder Awards thing, and I actually won one, which I thought was kind of cool. But it was a tip of the hat because of the sheer volume of videos I put out. They said that great quality, great information. I had a great variety of topics. So there was nothing bad about it. But it made me realize that I had been pushing, 6 videos out a week plus a live, 5 to 6 videos a week plus a live. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to work on, once again, audio, video, that stuff I'm trying to do to make everything a little bit easier to watch, especially audio. If the audio sucks, if the audio is bad, it makes it hard to listen to. It just does. That's YouTube in general. Audio is king. Even though it's a video channel, audio is king. However, I also want to make sure I get the quality right. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. So when Raven's Path has this thing on GM burnout here, I wasn't getting burned out, but when I won an award for, once again, the videos, yes, but also for the amount that I had put out, I was like, wow, I'm gonna burn out. So what I've been trying to do, and if you probably notice it starting this year, is I don't do a daily video or try to do a daily video. What I've been trying to do is I've been trying to work on the quality of the information and doing a video every other day. So there's less pressure to turn something out, because there would be, if you look at the, and I'm not asking anybody to look, please don't research me. But there'd be a week, I do 6 videos in a live, and then there'd be a week that I did 5 videos in live, and I feel guilty because I wasn't putting out enough stuff. And that's a good way to burn yourself out. So right now I'm trying to make sure that I get the information quality good before I record the video. And then I make sure I spend time on the audio in the video and the little transitions and my new little intro and outro and all. I'm trying to make the quality of the channel better. Number 1, information. Number 2, sound. Number 3 is the video. But basically to avoid burnout, because I was trying to do all those things while also putting out a video a day, some of them being, 30 minutes long. And that's hours of recording and then hours of editing afterwards. So that is one thing. One thing I will say though, is even with doing those kind of things, if I'm wrong, misinformation, there's a correction that I can't edit out of the video on YouTube Studio, I'm going to take it down, reprocess it, or re-record it and put it back up. So don't think that if there's a correction, I'm just going to put something in. I'm just going to put something in the comments and be like, oh, sorry about that, and put a note. I will take it down, re-record it, put it back up. So thank you. I appreciate that, Daniel. Yeah, I'm trying to, every other day is what I'm going to go for. If I do one, if you see 2 or 3 in a row, like every single day, it's because I'm excited about a topic and it's an easy one to do. Some of them, and I'm actually super thrilled about this. All right, I'm going to go on a tangent again. Sorry about this. So I have all my categories. Everything's color-coded by what category it is. Well, the role-playing ones are my favorite videos to do, but they are my least popular videos that are watched. However, the last one I did, which was feats for role-playing, that did pretty well for me, actually. It wasn't my highest video ever, but it did average, which was the best I've ever done for role. So I'm thrilled for that. But yeah, but if you do see me put more videos out with like one day, it's usually because I'm excited about a topic. Role playing would be one of the things I get excited about. And I appreciate that, Raven's Path and Daniel. The second annual highly unofficial Paizoverse YouTube Superlative Awards. That is, the titles, and we called it the Verspa, I believe is what we call it. It was an honor, and I appreciated it. It was really an honor because, I'm not that big of a YouTube channel. But yeah, so expect videos every other day There might be 2 days when I don't do one, and it'll usually be because I'm doing a longer video afterwards. But yeah, I'm trying to make sure that the information quality is good, the audio quality is good, and then the video quality is good. And I think that will better serve the channel. And it also, in truth, this is a metric thing. I don't mean metric as an imperial versus metric. I mean a metrics type thing. Is that I think that by giving videos an extra day to be the latest content, they're actually being viewed more. It isn't counterintuitive, but it's a little bit odd that, not odd, maybe that's how the YouTube algorithm works. I don't know. It's a big mystery to me. But I think that giving a video an extra day to breathe, I guess, might actually put it on more viewers' screens. So who knows? But it seems to have been working lately. So I'm going to stick with it every other day. There will be times when it takes 2 days before I get a video out, but I'm going to try to keep that schedule up. So there'll be some weeks with 3 videos, some weeks with 4 videos. There's going to start being a live every Thursday, except for when I tell you there isn't one, like I'm going to be visiting my mom. But so that's going to be the pace that we have, plus the campaign thing coming out, which is still, Saturdays. So it's another live, but those are more free form and not so structured. But I think that is all I really have. I really appreciate everybody showing up to this particular live. It's super helpful when there's something to interact with. And yeah, well, thank you for the turn path. It's super helpful to actually be able to interact. I'm glad that, there's already things on the Discord for me to look at. So I appreciate that. And, it was a great 2023. It's been a fantastic start to 2024. Even with the cold that those of us in the U.S. have come through this last week. We have one more freezing night here in Texas. I think it's tomorrow night when we're going to be a hard freeze again. And hard freeze for us is 25 degrees or Celsius would be what, -4, 5? One more hard freeze and then we're out of it. But I appreciate everybody for showing up. I hope everybody stays safe. And I hope everybody's having a great 2024 so far. And we will see you guys later. New video is going to be coming out on Saturday. And that's all I got. So I hope everybody has a good night and happy adventuring. Thanks.